Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liz if you are new here. So this is going to be a week of Slimming World dinner ideas. I mean, it doesn't have to be for dinner, you could do this for lunches or whatever meal you fancy, but these are like my go-to, you know, quick and easy, really tasty meals that I always go for. So I will put all the syns on screen and I'll just talk through how I cook everything, and these are just like the recipes that I've had I think like in the last month or so, so they're just like my go-to meals. If you've hit a plateau or you're just getting bored of your meals and you just want some inspo, hopefully this video will help you. I'll put everything in the description of the meals and the syns for each meal as well. So let's just get straight into the video. So the first meal is a Shakshuka, which is sin-free and also a speed and protein meal. So I use the tomato passata, but you can use chunky tomatoes. Also, these were the only beans I had, but you can use any beans or chickpeas. So you need eggs, and it's really basic seasoning, but it is so easy and delicious. So I've got this paprika, but I know there are different kinds. Just use whatever you've got. Cumin, salt, pepper, fresh onion, fresh garlic, and that is all of the ingredients. So first I started off with putting the onions and fresh garlic in the pan. I suppose if you don't want to use fresh, just use granule, but fresh always just tastes so much better. I've done this recipe so many times since, and it is absolutely delicious. So highly recommend trying it, especially if you just want to switch up your recipes. So once the tomatoes are in, I'll just add all of the seasoning, salt, pepper, cumin, paprika. I think I did add some onion granules and garlic granules, to be honest. So basically just let that simmer, make a few wells in the pan, however many eggs that you want to do. I done 4 because I was serving this for 2. Keep it covered. As soon as the eggs are firm on top, it is all done, and that is everything for this meal. Next meal is the Chinese chicken curry from Spice and Tice. You can use Mayflower powder if you don't have this, but honestly the Spice and Tice is so delicious and I actually prefer it. So all of these spices to make the curry sauce is sin-free. The only syns, as you would have just seen on screen, is the flour. So I used peas, onions, and I like to make them really chunky, garlic, ginger. Either use fry light or spray oil, just whatever you want to use. The recipe says to use sugar, but of course I'm not going to use sugar. I'm just using the sweetener and then the flour. So you just put the sauce packet in with water, however much, I think it's like 300 or 400 ml, something like that. And then add your flour, which is the only syns for this recipe. Put your chicken. I did season my chicken with some basic seasonings, salt, pepper, onion and garlic granules. Then add your onions in really chunky. If you don't like them chunky, you know, do them however you want, but I really love this recipe with it all chunky. And then add your curry sauce to the pan. This is definitely one of the easiest meals ever and really tasty. Literally add it to the pan, let it simmer, add your frozen peas. I didn't even bother defrosting them because they just cook in like a couple of minutes. Then I added the granule sweetener, which was I think like 1 or 2 teaspoons or tablespoons. It wasn't too much. And then this served 3 or 4 people, I believe. I served mine with chips. Serve it with rice or whatever you want, but this was the next meal. The next recipe is a cottage pie, which is sin-free. You just can't go wrong with this meal. It is always a winner. It's just always so good. So as long as you get any beef or steak mince, as long as it's 5% fat or under, it is sin-free. So I've got all these potatoes for the mash, stock pots, carrots, onions, whatever veggies you want to use. Worcester sauce, which is free, salt, pepper. Here's my seasonings. I'm using spray olive oil. I believe 5 sprays is half a sin, but I personally don't sin it. And also if you use less than 5 sprays, it's not even worth sinning it. So I just start off by chopping up all the veggies, the onions, getting them in the pan first to soften because carrots can be a bit hard. Add the mince and then add all of the seasonings. Then I added my chopped tomatoes and stock pot and oxo cubes. If you feel like you need more stock or less stock, just use whatever you want. And then I added the peas and just gave that a good mix in. Then it was basically ready to go in the dish and just top it with the mash. So the potatoes that were boiling earlier, I just added salt and pepper and just mashed it with the potato masher, and here I am adding it on top. I didn't add any milk or butter or anything like that. I literally just mashed it with salt and pepper. That goes into the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes until it is nice and golden and brown on top, and that is everything. I cut this into, I think it was 6 pieces, and I just portioned it up into tubs, but you can serve it with whatever you want. You could serve it with extra veggies, some gravy. That's probably what I'd do. So that was the next meal. Next is a creamy chicken pasta. This is absolutely amazing. 2 syns for the lighter creme fraiche, 2 syns for the pesto, but the pesto is optional, and you can make this as creamy as you like if you want to add more creme fraiche. So today I was using this light spaghetti. I know on Slimming World, you know, pasta is free. It's just because I had this in the cupboard at the time is why I used it. But as you can see here, I just use normal pasta. You can use any. So I'm loving chicken thighs at the moment instead of breasts. They're just so much more juicy. If you've got any excess fat, just take it off. So you can see all the ingredients I'm using here: fresh garlic, stock cubes, peas, the parmesan or whatever cheese you want to use is going to be your A-choice cheese, and this is just all the ingredients. I would recommend using some sort of hard cheese personally, but to be honest, you can use any cheese you want. So I'm just chopping up all of the chicken, adding the garlic, some seasoning, getting the pasta onto boil, and then I've just crumbled in the stock pot with a little dash of water, not too much because you don't want it to be really watery. Then I just added in the peas, gave that a good mix. Basically, when the pasta is ready, just put that straight into the pan. Then you can add your creamy seasonings on top. Make sure you use a measuring spoon because it's so easy to go over. Then you're adding syns that you don't even realise when you don't use a measuring spoon. So just giving everything a mix, putting the pasta straight into the pan, a little bit of excess pasta water, and then just gave that a good mix. I added, I think, 2 tablespoons per person. This was serving, I think, 4, maybe 5 portions. So it looks like I'm adding a lot in here, but it is 2 servings, 2 tablespoons per serving, which equals 4 syns for each meal. This was so delicious. You need to try it. If you like pasta recipes, you need to try it. So this was 4 syns, and this was the creamy chicken pasta recipe. The next meal is my chicken thighs veggie rice with an egg, and it probably sounds basic, but it is so tasty, so delicious. So I started off with chopping an onion and a red onion just because I had these on hand. You don't have to use both, just use whatever you've got. Here are all the seasonings that I'm going to be seasoning my chicken with. So I just put my chicken in a bowl, gave it a wash, and here is me using all of the seasonings. Use fry light or spray oil, whatever you want to use. Give it a good mix and put that in the air fryer or the oven, whatever you want to use. So I just started off with cooking down the onions, added a load of frozen veggies. So you don't have to use fresh veggies for this. A pack of frozen would be absolutely fine. I washed a ton of rice, as you can see here, and just added in the rice. And then the veggie stock pots that you seen earlier, I just put 2 of them with a bunch of water and then just added it in the pan here. I'm just going to add a bit more seasoning, just some salt, pepper, onion, garlic granules, and then get the pan covered until the rice is cooked. Basically, it's so easy, and this was so tasty as well. So here I am just serving up the dish, as much rice as you like. I added an egg. It is optional, but the egg really makes it so good. And then the chicken thighs are cooked. Just add that to your bowl. I personally like to top mine with hot sauce. It's actually really low syn, the Frank's hot sauce. You get 3 tablespoons for half a syn. I didn't use that much, but I did syn it half a syn and some sriracha. So here is the finished meal. Perfect egg. Absolutely love this recipe. You need to try it. So here are all of the meals that I've just shown. Hopefully you've got some meal inspo and this video has helped. Thank you so much for watching.